In the heart of the Rhineland, just a stone's throw from Cologne, there once lay a vibrant village called Manheim. With a church, a cemetery, and even a swimming pool, it was home to around 1,600 people. Among them was also the later Formula One world champion Michael Schumacher. But Manheim, as it once was, no longer exists. The streets are deserted, the houses are falling apart, and with each passing day, another piece of memory of the thriving life of the year 2001, which once shaped this place, disappears. The Hambach open pit mining, a fate that has turned Manheim into a ghost town. The residents had to give way, leaving their homes, to make room for the relentless extraction of lignite. But soon, in just a few weeks, the last building will also be gone. Today, we embark on a journey to this dying place. A village with over 1,000 years of history that will soon live on only in memories and stories. What is left of Manheim? We want to find out.
That's really unbelievable, isn't it? It says everywhere that it is under camera surveillance, and I was just thinking, how many cameras do they want to have here? There is actually a wildlife camera hanging over the entrance of the church. You can see it from the side.
Apparently, all the windows of the church have been removed. Maybe. They could still be used somehow. And everywhere, you can now see particle boards. Let's just ask ChatGPT when exactly the church was desecrated.
The St. Pantaleon Church in the Manheim district of Kerpen was desecrated on January 13th, 2018.
Pretty desolate. Did you see the clock up there? They removed everything that could be taken off.
Very strange somehow. So if an entire village has to make way for an open pit mine, that's actually crazy, isn't it? Thousands of many villages, unfortunately not. It's really terrible when you think that you might have lived here for decades and your whole family has lived here, and you might have inherited things, and you just have to give it up, whether you want to or not. You just have to go. Otherwise, you'll be basically carried out with your house. But I'm curious. There are supposed to be a few people still living here. Where they still live here, will we still see that somewhere here? That house back there looks like someone might still be living there. Are the curtains still hanging? It could also be that they were just left hanging, but I think it looks a bit like that. Let's take a look.
Mannheim, one of the oldest villages in the Rhineland, looks back on a rich history. The St. Albanus Church, built in the Middle Ages, was not only a place of worship, but also the center of village life for centuries. Here, baptisms, weddings, and funerals were celebrated. Here, people gathered for celebrations and meetings. Fertile soils of the region ensured the residents of Mannheim a modest but content life for generations. In the 20th century, the village changed. Proximity to Cologne attracted commuters who appreciated the tranquility of rural life. Mannheim retained its rural charm. However, the swimming pool and the village center developed into popular meeting places for the approximately 1,600 residents, but appearances were deceiving. The opening of the Hambach open pit mine in 1978, a dark threat approached.
It's so intense. This atmosphere that is here. It's actually so quiet. You can still hear over there from the road. I don't know if it's a tractor or construction vehicles passing by. You can also occasionally see people walking by here, taking photos of the place. Yes, a tractor is also coming towards us with a hay bale. 2001. But otherwise, it's just quiet. When you think about how many people used to live here, and now it's just quiet.
So intense, really. And the door, as you can see, they have really barricaded it with a concrete block.
It looks a bit like the door has probably been broken open before.
Yes, look how many bolts are on the door. And now they have put a block in place so that the issue with the door is over. A farmer just came towards me with a hay bale. He is over there, working. That's probably his farm. It's really intense. When you think about the fact that all of this will soon no longer be there, that everything really has to make way for ultimately the second largest lake in Germany, which will eventually be created here as part of the entire mining operations.
Since the 80s, it has been clear that this place must also make way for open pit mining in the long term.
But well, I think many have still had hope in recent years that this might not
happen after all. And now, it is really just a ghost town. Very, very sad. On April 1st, 2012, the relocation of Manheim began. RWE Power offered contracts to the residents, and the first houses in Manheim were built anew. What was once a place full of life became the playing field of energy policy. It was as if they were pulling our home from under our feet, recalls a former resident. The demolition of the first houses began in 2013. By 2019, most residents had been relocated, but some families refused to give up their home. Here behind me, everything is now barren land. I would assume that there were also early houses standing here. Probably like so many houses that no longer stand here, with wild grass growing everywhere. But over there, that still seems to be a real farm, or a small settlement where people probably still live. It still looks very inhabited, and the windows are not barricaded yet. We had already seen that back there. We will also pass by there again shortly. There were also a few houses that are to be demolished. But there are definitely boards put up in front of the windows to prevent anyone from breaking in. And I would really assume that people still live over there. It's really intense, isn't it? When you live here until the end, and just watch how this place changes from a very lively place to a ghost town now, right? That's really 2005. Incredible. Honestly speaking, I don't even know if I would stay here until the bitter end and really truly push it to the limit with the deadline to move out at all, or whether I would prefer to relocate early, yes, to the new town. It's really difficult. You can write in the comments what you would do, whether you would prefer to leave right away or stay until the end. But by the end of the year, that is by the end of 2024, it will be over. For these people here, one way or another. What I didn't know on site was that I was standing exactly in the marketplace of Manheim, which looked exactly the same in 2007, 2001. If you just look now, here is the church. It actually stands there all alone. Over there is still one building. Otherwise, there is simply nothing here for miles. In 2001, simply nothing more. Nothing at all. Use end. And then, over there, the houses. The resistance against the open pit mining took shape. Citizen initiatives were founded, demonstrations organized. Manheim remains. The battle cry echoed through the streets. However, the protests had little chance against the power of RWE and the politics. Today, Manheim resembles a ghost town. Most houses have already been leveled, and the few remaining buildings stand abandoned and barricaded. Only a handful of residents are still holding out in their homeland. But their time in Manheim is numbered. By the end of 2024, 2 must leave their homes. Ironically, RWE is not primarily concerned with the lignite coal beneath the village in the destruction of Manheim. Rather, the company needs the sand and gravel from the topsoil to stabilize the slope of the open pit mine. Only beneath Manheim is the required material available in sufficient quantity and quality. RWE informed ZDF upon request in 2023. Alternatives have been examined but are demonstrably not feasible. Only the church, once the heart of the village, is to escape destruction. Amidst the lunar landscape of the open pit mining, it will serve as a lonely relic of Mannheim's history. However, RWE is already planning for the future. When the open pit mining is closed and flooded with Rhine water, the church is to stand on the shore of the Mannheim Bay. Not a memorial, but a recreational area with a cafe, restaurant, and exhibition rooms. A quirky thought. Where once a vibrant village pulsed, tourists are to enjoy their latte macchiato in 50 years. Behind me, you can still see an almost complete row of buildings, and in front of me is just complete wasteland. Here to my left is a fenced area with video surveillance
construction machinery is being monitored there, probably to continue demolishing the buildings. But otherwise, everything here is just complete wasteland. If you didn't see the sidewalks and all the streets that run everywhere to the left and right, one could simply think that you are walking towards a meadow, right? That is just here. Here is the street again that I just walked along, and over there you can already see the excavator. The scaffolding way back there, do you see that? They are currently excavating back there, and soon they will be here. So, we are now driving into Sunflower Street again. Our street, because we just heard from two others that there should be something interesting to see here. A really classic play street. Yes, exactly. On the left, probably everywhere the houses have a nice view of the field. Man. Here is another nice house. Behind it is another hall. Wow, look at how overgrown that is. Wait a minute. Let me get out here. Look at that. Just look at that garden. Just how overgrown it is. Also well secured with the lock. Man. In all the demolished villages, it was usually the case that you weren't allowed to stay here in the evenings, once it got dark. I can imagine that it will be similar here in this place. There won't be any vandalism happening here now. But to be honest, if that used to be my house, and I were to drive by here now and see how it looks now. Just imagine, your parents might have built the house. At some point, you inherited it, lived there with your family, and now it's decaying like this, and soon it will be completely gone. That's really intense. Truly very, very intense. Up there, the roof tiles, you can also see that some are already missing. Here above the door, you can still see the visits of the star singers. From 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2011, 2010 and 2011. Apparently, that was the last visit, if you trust what you can still see there now. What remains when the excavators have swallowed the last house? The memories, the stories of the former residents remain. The pictures of happy days at the swimming pool. The smell of freshly baked bread from the old bakery. The laughter of children at the playground. Memories of a home, of a community that cannot be destroyed by open pit mining. These memories live on in the hearts of people, in photo albums, in the stories that are passed down from generation to generation. They are the invisible thread that connects the people from Manheim, even in their new homeland. And who knows, maybe the bells of Saints Albanus Church in Manheim will ring anew, for the old village to continue living a bit. There is one thing that remains, that will not be demolished. It also has, you could say, a very sporty, historically significant background. And we will take a look at that now. Yes, I think you can see it and you can also hear it in the background. This is the first racetrack and this will be the only one of these places that will remain. This is where Michael Schumacher had his beginnings in motorsport. So historically really very, very interesting. The go-kart track was originally supposed to make way for lignite mining. The handover of the site was planned for October 2020 to make room for the excavators from RWE. However, ongoing protests from environmentalists who were already advocating for the preservation of the nearby Hambach forest, led to the demolition being halted. As late as December 2019, RWE announced that preserving the go-kart track was not a priority. However, the protests forced the company to rethink. The go-kart track and the adjacent nature reserve are spared from the open-pit mining activities. The planned demolition has been definitively cancelled, and the go-kart track is now one of the few relics that will remain from old Manheim. In keeping with this ghost town, there is also a ghost highway here. So, a section of a highway that has now been completely abandoned. And we will take a look at that as well. I am now at a completely different location with a view of this section of the highway. Over there, cyclists are just coming, who are using the road. I don't even know if there is still really asphalt underneath here. There is, of course, a lot of mud on the road, or if the road surface has been removed here. I honestly don't think so. Here you can also see a part of the guardrail. It's all very demolished. I am currently standing on a bridge. I would say, let's go over the street now. I will now quickly cross to the other side of the street and show you. The other side of the former highway. And it looks completely different, folks. It looks like this. The highway ran there. You can see a bit that there is still a route here. The roadway is completely gone. You can't see anything there anymore. And here on the right, you can already see the large excavator that is removing the first layers of soil. And then everything here will look like over there. It's a bit foggy right now, but I think you can see it well. Back there, the coal is being removed. And here are a few cyclists passing by. The area is still not closed off. Another relic of the open pit mining is the decommissioned section of the A between Kerpen and Düren, known as the Ghost Highway. Originally, the route carried tens of thousands of vehicles daily between Cologne and Aachen. However, with the expansion of the Hambach open pit mine, a relocation became necessary. Planning for the relocation of the A began as early as the 1970s. In 2008, the project was implemented, and since 2014, the highway runs on a new route about 1.7 kilometers further south. The former section has been decommissioned and is one of the few roads in Germany that have remained unused for years. Manheim is on the verge of its final disappearance. On Friday, we will take you to another village that looks like a ghost town. But something unexpected has happened here. A dramatic turn that has changed everything. What exactly happened? You will find out in our next video.